It's college football time, so let's pick the biggest games versus the spread and make ridiculous football food. It's Easy Call.
Look at where we are, right on the water in Brooklyn with Manhattan behind me. Here is this week's slate of Week 2 Easy Call games. We've got a really good game. We've got a good game. We've got a decent game. We've got El Asico. It's all happening. And more importantly, we have the guac that you should be making from Petty Cash Taqueria in LA at your tailgate or watch party. It is, as they say, elite. But let's get into the action. First game, Michigan State hosting Oregon. Of course, the Spartans 3-point favorites. Everybody knows Vernon Adams taking over at quarterback, had a good week 1, is now taking that show on the road to East Lansing to take on the Spartans, a top 10 matchup. Going against a Michigan State team that struggled a little bit in week 1. Connor Cook, really, really good, but that defense replacing key parts. Big matchup here for me is going to be Oregon's secondary, which had a ton of trouble tackling last week against Eastern Washington at home against Michigan State's talented but a little bit green receivers. So I think actually I'm going to go with the defense and the seasoned nature of Michigan State here. I think that they win by, let's call it 4 points, and they barely cover 35-31. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Next game, and I'm going to get into it with a big old swig of my Labor Day lemonade. Oh yeah, let's call it that. Oklahoma going to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. The Sooners 3-point favorites, and I think rightfully so. I think that's fair. Big story for OU. This is, of course, a revamped offense with Lincoln Riley and Baker Mayfield stepping into that air raid sort of look, going against a Tennessee team that's still looking to, turn the corner would be the right phrasing on really both sides of the ball, but extremely talented. The big matchup that I'm looking for here, Tennessee's offensive line, which struggled a little bit in pass protection in week 1, going against an Oklahoma defense that's really good against the run, but trying to prove that it has improved against the pass. I'm going to go Oklahoma here. Never like taking road favorites in a big game, but I don't fully trust Tennessee's ability to adjust on offense, to get the passing game going against what should be a decent enough Oklahoma defense. So I'm going to say Oklahoma takes this one 31-24. I think that offense is going to look very, very good. Now, the third game, LSU, field goal favorites, going to Starkville, clangah to take on Mississippi State. Obviously, we do know that LSU, really talented everywhere. New defensive coordinator comes in, coming off of I would say it's fair to say a down LSU defensive year, especially versus the run. Now they go against a Mississippi State team that replaces a number of key parts, both sides of the ball. New defensive coordinator, sort of old new defensive coordinator with Manny Diaz, trying to stop LSU. I think the big matchup here is going to be big, fast, scary monster Leonard Fournette trying to control the game on the road, on the ground. Kind of a revamped offensive line for the Tigers against a defensive front that wasn't all that great against the run themselves in Mississippi State. So if they can keep the ball and the chains moving, I think LSU is going to have a pretty good time, especially taking pressure off of new quarterback starter Brandon Harris. All that said, you're going to give me a home dog in the SEC, a decent team against an offense that we have no idea what to expect. I'm just going to take those damn points. 24-17. Let's go with the Bulldogs. I think the defense will be fine. God, it's gonna be a fun one though. A lot of cowbell. You know what? I'm gonna harken back to the first game though, because we're gonna talk guacamole. We got two big green teams going against each other, so let's all learn together how to make perfect guacamole from Chef Fabian Gallardo. I like that pronunciation, at Petty Cash Taqueria in LA.
Hi, I'm Fabian Gallardo. I'm the chef de cuisine at the Petty Cash Taqueria here on Beverly location in Los Angeles. Now we're gonna make some guacamole.
Yes, I love that sentence. Who walks into a party and sees guacamole and says, nah, I'm good? That person shouldn't be at your party to begin with.
Exactly. We can start making the chips.
How long does this normally take?
45 seconds. Then pico de gallo.
Yep.
So we take one of the tomatoes. I'll get the onions and the serrano peppers.
And you keep all the core and seeds intact in there.
Correct. You want that heat.
Lesson, keep it picante.
Okay, we're gonna make the guacamole now. Yes. So, you wanna find the ripe avocados, you squeeze from the top and the bottom. Smash it, the avocado, and leaves the chunks.
Add salt?
Salt. I like to use for one avocado, half lime juice. That's the secret for my recipe.
Makes sense.
The cilantro and serrano mix.
So this is where we bowl it.
Some more cilantro.
Okay. The contrast of different greens.
Some more pico de gallo on top.
So those are the pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds.
This is a better version of an ice cream sundae than an ice cream sundae. The big stacked up with the toppings. This is way better. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what perfection looks like. Oh man. You ever get sick of guac? Not a chance. The guacamole you need in your life. Thank you very much to Fabian and Petty Cash. By all means, get here. And you can find this very recipe, those pepitas, make a huge difference, on eater.com. See you soon.
Ooh, I am such a better man for having received that guacamole education from Fabian over at Petty Cash Taqueria in LA. You need to get there and you need to make that guac. But let's get into the next game. Boise State, 1.5 favorites, going on the road to take on BYU, and of course the Cougars coming off a big emotional Hail Mary victory, but also losing their starting quarterback in the process against a Boise State team that has a very good defense. They're nasty and salty and all sorts of great adjectives. I like this team a lot, Boise State, if they can get the quarterback situation in order with Ryan Finley. I think that's the key matchup here. Ryan Finley getting into a rhythm, especially on passing downs against an experienced BYU defense that is particularly good and will take away the run, which is, I would say it's fair to say, Boise State's strength at this point, but I am going to take the better defense, Boise State, even though they're on the road. BYU might be in a transitionary period scheme-wise on offense. Tanner Mangum plays a little bit differently than Taysom Hill. Call it 23-20 Boise State. A little bit ugly, but the Broncos come out on top. And the final game, as promised, El-Asico. I'm gonna make this real short because it's a short week and there are not that many good games. I'm taking Iowa State. They're the dogs at home in Ames by 4 points. I ride with Paul Rhodes. I ride with Sam B. Richardson. He's a quarterback who prominently features his middle initial. I'm gonna ride with the Cyclones here, 27-20 outright. So there it is. Picks are nice and easy. Michigan State, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Boise State, and Iowa State in El-Asico. You need that guacamole in your life. I shouldn't have to tell you, but let's reinforce it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna enjoy this delicious lemonade. See you next week.